6:14 is the time right now. A life-changing machine is leading residents of a small town on a journey in the show The Big Door Prize.
We've got Chris O'Dowd and Josh Shigara joining us this morning on this show. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello there, how are you?
Hi.
Doing well, doing well. Good to see you both. Okay, so first question. If you had the opportunity to use this in real life, would you want to know that you had bigger and better, or would you be at peace with where you are?
Would you?
In a perfect world, the card would come out of the machine, and on both sides, it would say, please turn over. I would just want it to deliver a perfect joke. I'm not a particularly ambitious person. I would want to keep it very low key.
Yeah. I just feel like there'd be so much pressure if you know that you're not living up to your true potential. I'd be like, well, dang, I got to switch everything up.
I feel like that's what would scare me, is that if it was something that I've never even thought about, I would just hope that it would say something that I've always wanted to be. I hope it would say pro wrestler or something along those lines, and just allow me to pursue that childhood dream,
Right.
The show is what's heartfelt, thought-provoking. I'm curious if you guys have ever, in the process of making the show, got a script and read it and kind of was like, oh, wow, like I never looked at life that way or anything like that.
I mean, that's what you hope with everything that comes in. I think a good piece of work is really looking at life from a slightly odd perspective, and I think that this show does that very well. It was a show that was written after the book was written, and the book was written before the pandemic, but it asked a lot of kind of post-pandemic questions, like this reset button. Back and redo your life, would you do it? Are you happy with your lot? And my character is kind of in the midst of that. He's basically living through a midlife panic attack, and his wife doesn't know if he's good enough for her. And I can understand all of this stuff, John and Courtney. You know what the crack is with partners.
Yeah. The part about the midlife crisis thing kind of hits home. But do you have any advice for me?
Now this is therapy. This is therapy now.
Car, right? That's what you buy a car.
You've come to the right guys.
Yeah, that's it. We just bought cars this morning.
Okay.
You tried tequila.
Yes, I have.
So then that begs the question, because Josh, you kind of alluded to this earlier. I know that you are a huge wrestling fan. If you had the choice to go back and do it all over again, would you choose the wrestling route? Would you stick with the acting route?
I grew up in Central Florida. I grew up in a town called Longwood, Florida.
Longwood, Florida!
Hey, represent. And that is now in Central Florida is where the NXT Performance Center is, the WWE Performance Center. And I will tell you right now, that existed when I was a kid. And there was a camp that kids were allowed to go to. Like I hear there is. I mean, I would be there all the time. I would. I think. Answer. I'm pretty sure I'd be body slamming this guy as opposed to sitting next to him in a chair.
I would not be there.
Chris, very off the wall question, kind of very much unrelated. We were discussing yesterday how much Irish people hate it when Americans do an Irish accent.
Forgive us,
on a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate the average American doing an Irish accent?
It's just very hard to tell when you're doing it. Because it sounds like you've just had a fall.
It's that bad.
No, I love it. I've been living in America 10, 12, 13 years now, and I've found nothing but kind of generous spirit towards Irish people. So I don't mind you kind of throwing our accents off a little bit now and again. I don't really care.
Oh, man. I love it. Chris, Josh, thank you so much for your time this morning. You can catch the Big Door Prize on Apple TV+, and then you can also watch it streaming. We appreciate you whether we are on the wrestling mat or not.